Shay will cue you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's here.
I don't have any hearing at all.
Yes.
Anyway, that'll work out.
Good morning, everybody. Let's please stand and sing. I've got Peace Like a River, and we're going to sing 2 verses. I've got peace like a river, I've And I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Richey, and thanks to Pam Larrett, who's filling in as our guest pianist today and performer. So always great to have you. Thank you. Pam has let me know she left her hearing aids at home, so she's looking at me very kindly, like, what the hell is he saying? Yeah. Is he asking me to do something? Yeah. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Well, welcome everyone to our early service here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Spokane, where we join together to create a nourishing, liberal religious home and to champion justice, diversity, and environmental stewardship in our wider world. Or, as we say in short, to create community, find meaning, and work for justice. And welcome, as always, to each of you for being here. Great to have all of you, at least those of you who like to attend the early service with us. It's great to have you here in person, and of course the many of you who are with us via live stream this morning too. It's great to have all of you. So thanks so much for being here. We embrace all that you come with, all of your unique beliefs, your background, your lifestyle, your experiences, your differences, all that helps make you who you are. So I've got one announcement today. A repeat from last week, and that is that actually today now, we around 12:30 after our second service, in your case you'd be welcome to come back, but church member Bob Bernstein has arranged for Simone McKay from the Spokane County Emergency Management to join us to explore whether or not our church might want to be involved in becoming part of the disaster or emergency disaster relief response here in CERT in short here in Spokane. So she'll be here to answer questions, tell us a little bit about the program, and then we can talk more about it downstream about whether or not it seems like something that's right for our congregation. It really feels like an important thing to at least consider at this moment in history, given the likelihood of experiencing some sort of natural disaster or something else even, who knows, but given what's going on with climate change, that's something most of us, particularly this time of year, worry about almost every day. So please stay tuned for more on that. Come back at 12:30 if you wish. All right, that's all I have for now, so I will invite those of you who are here in our early service to greet one another this morning. You guys were having such a good time visiting with each other. I felt rude just interrupting, so I hope that you'll be able to resume those conversations during our social hour. But we are going to move forward now by lighting our chalice, an important part of our Sunday ritual, as the symbol of our unity and our solidarity, our openness and our inclusion, our community and our individual uniqueness. May this small flame be our offering of warmth to those who are cold and alone, and a light to those in darkness. May it be a flame that ignites justice in our world and a beacon of hope to those in need, and may it reflect at least a spark of truth wherever truth has been lost, and cast a healthy shadow of doubt wherever it's been found.
Our opening reflection today begins with a familiar voice from the world of Harry Potter. It comes from Albus Dumbledore, the wise wizard who serves as mentor to Harry and his friends as they navigate fear, danger, and darkness while growing in wisdom, courage, and character. Today we're exploring our relationship with technology through the lens of this magical world. Many of us have been wondering, and in some cases worrying, whether the newest technologies will change what it means to be human. From the discovery of fire to the printing press, the telephone, the internet, and now artificial intelligence, each powerful new technology has reshaped human society, changing how we gather, learn, work, and connect. And with each new technology have come both hope and fear. Will these innovations improve our lives or diminish them, bring us closer together or drive us farther apart? But what if the deepest questions have never been about the tools themselves? What if they have always been about us and how we choose to use these remarkable and powerful tools? Near the end of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Dumbledore offers Harry these words. "It is our choices, Harry, that show us what we truly are, far more than our abilities."
Okay, please stand and sing with us, Building a New Way. We're just going to sing one verse. Wrong song.
Yay. Everybody deserves a hand for that one. All right, we are now going to kindle our candles of care for those most on our hearts and minds this morning. And as we have been for far too many Sundays, far too many years now, heavy on our hearts have been the people of Ukraine and the people of Russia and the people of Palestine and Israel and Iran, the people of Darfur and South Sudan, all of whom are facing violence and injustices or injustices in their countries. And of course, there are many in our own nation that are suffering injustices as well, those being killed by government agents on city streets, as well as the many immigrants in our country and their families, whether they be here legally or illegally, who are living in a state of fear. Let's take a moment of silence on behalf of others you might be thinking of, and as always, you're welcome to name them aloud if you wish. Those named aloud, those embraced in our silence, and all those who are suffering in our world at this hour, we hold in our community with compassion. And we now gratefully give and receive this morning's offering, which helps sustain this community and our mission to the larger world. Thank you, Pam. Now it is time for our Time for All Ages, but before we begin, I want to check in. I love the cold, and I love the cold weather, and I have a jacket on and I'm a little cool. How are you doing? You're doing okay? Everybody okay? All right, so I just wanted to check. So this is a story for all ages, time for all ages, I should say, and most of you know that when I do this part of the service, I like to bring a puppet. I love puppets, and I don't just love puppets because they're puppets. I'm one of those people that has absolutely no what they call automatonophobia. Right? I love humanoids, the idea of robots, of puppets, anything that you can animate and bring to life. Always have since I was a little guy. And you know, I also love technology. And in the past year or so, I have used technology to create my own music, songs. And it's all I listen to anymore. I've got 10 albums with 16 to 20 tracks on each one. Different genres. I love the rock and roll ones the best. And since I've been doing this, I have envisioned a robot band playing my music, going on tour and playing my music. And I think I'm going to get there. I really think I'm going to get there sooner than most people imagine. But I've realized, due to the advancement of technology just within the past few months, that I can create puppets that can do this. And so I've been working on that, on a little project, and I want to show you one of them. This is based on some very inspiring words by a guy named Will Weissman, who was the past director of Singularity University. And he was launching the Abundance Conference that this school puts on every year. And he said, I'm here because, like many of you, I believe in creating a world of abundance. And something to the effect of what that looks like to me is a world where everybody's fed, and everybody's housed, and everybody's educated, and everybody has a fair shake at living a good life. And I said, that is my mantra. That is what I want to. So this is a song called Silicon Dreams that is based on what Will Weissman said. And I've added some puppets. So please watch the screen. So that's just a little example of the magic that is at our fingertips these days.
How many times have you wanted 4 arms if you were a drummer? As we move into a few moments of quiet meditation together, I offer you these words again from Albus Dumbledore, spoken to Harry near the end of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. They remind us that the greatest challenges we face are often not around us, but within us. As much money and life as you could want, the 2 things most human beings would choose above all. The trouble is, humans do have a knack of choosing precisely those things that are worst for them.
So this was written by Claude AI, inspired by the topic of our sermon. So it's big on choice. It's called The Spell We Choose. There was a time when magic lived in books. You had to turn a page, learn a language, practice the impossible. Now, the impossible fits inside our pockets. We whisper to glowing glass, and it whispers back. It remembers our names, finishes our sentences, shows us the faces of strangers before we've learned to see the people beside us. We have become powerful. But power has never been the greatest magic. Attention is. Compassion is. The courage to look another human being in the eyes instead of another screen. Every generation is handed a new kind of a wand, not to escape the world, but to decide what kind of world they will create. Technology can amplify fear, or it can amplify hope. It can spread loneliness or belonging. The question has never been how magical is the tool. The question is, who are we becoming while we behold it? Who are we becoming while we hold it? Because the greatest spell was never cast by a wand. It has always been cast by the human heart.
Oh, thank you so much for that. And I want to say the effort you put into it, the effortlessness that you put into it, but it was beautiful. I mean, that's the wonderful thing about the outcomes of AI is they somehow the prompts bring out what we want them to say as individuals. So that was beautiful. And Lynn, thank you for the readings you've done, and words you've given us so far too. Albus Dumbledore, okay. Well, so I'll start with a line from Harry Potter too. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive. We're proud to say that they were perfectly normal, thank you very much. They were the last people you'd expect to be involved in anything strange or mysterious, because they just didn't hold with such nonsense. This is how J.K. Rowling's magical story of Harry Potter begins, by telling us about the ordinary family that is reluctantly raising a very special boy who is destined to become the world of witchcraft and wizardry's most extraordinary magician ever. The greatest tragedy wasn't that Harry had magical abilities, Rowling informs us. It was that the Dursleys spent years trying to convince him he shouldn't use them. I can empathize with Harry, because these days there are a lot of people like the Dursleys, shaming and telling all of us not to use these extraordinary powers. Mr. Dursley pulls Harry aside. "I'm warning you," putting his large purple face right close to Harry's. "I'm warning you now, boy. Any funny business, anything at all, and you'll be in that cupboard from now until Christmas." It's true. The Dursleys often locked Harry in a small cupboard under the stairs so they did not have to think about him. That's how afraid of his magic they were. The Dursleys' attitude towards magic is analogous to how many people today feel about using technology, especially artificial intelligence. And I understand where they're coming from. AI may prove to be the most powerful tool humans have ever created. I've heard some compare it to the discovery of fire. But whether or not we're playing with fire again, AI is explosive, by which I mean it is improving much faster than any technology ever has, often faster than our rules, our regulations, our ethics, and our understanding can keep up with. So if, like the Dursleys, you prefer normalcy, AI is not your friend, because everything is changing fast, and it's only getting faster. In Harry Potter's world, those like the Dursleys who don't use magic and prefer normalcy, wanting everything to remain the same forever, are called muggles. But in reality, as philosopher Heraclitus told us centuries ago, nothing ever stays the same for any of us. You can't step into that same river twice. And as scary as the unknown future may be, tool making, including AI, is our species' specialty. It's what makes us human. As author, inventor, and futurist Ray Kurzweil says, "No other tool-using animal on Earth has demonstrated the ability to create and retain innovations in their use of tools." It's what we do. Like me, Kurzweil has also made a connection between our technology and Harry Potter. "These tales may be imaginary," he writes, "but they are not unreasonable visions of our world as it will exist only a few decades from now. Essentially, all of the Potter magic will be realized through the technologies I will explore in this book." He's talking about his best-selling 2005 book, The Singularity is Near, about the exponential advancement of technology leading to a point in the near future where artificial intelligence surpasses human intellect and where we merge with that intelligence, a point beyond which it is impossible to imagine. And as enthusiastic as I am about the singularity and our future, I understand how intimidating that kind of change and uncertainty can feel. But the answer cannot be trying to lock it away or to pretend that it isn't happening. As Greg Beto and Reid Hoffman write in their 2025 book, Super Agency, What Can Possibly Go Right with Our AI Future? You'll never get the future you want simply by prohibiting the one you don't want. To help create a positive future rather than fear, we need two motivators. We need hope, and we need the belief in our own agency. We need to believe that we really can make a difference. And this brings us back to Harry Potter. Those familiar with the story know that nobody in it is capable of performing magic without a crucial piece of technology, right? A wand. Before any student can attend Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, they must first obtain a wand. It is at Hogwarts that they will learn the proper spells and incantations for using it. So in real life, a wand is like AI, and a spell is like a prompt. And Hogwarts represents our commitment to learning how to use this technology intelligently, responsibly, and for the good of others. It's not about locking away our powers and pretending they don't exist. It's not about avoiding the technology. It's about using it wisely for the good of humanity. And we better, because if Kurzweil is right, as he's been right about most of his forecast, the singularity is not only near, but as is the title of his 2024 follow-up book, the singularity is nearer. Once a computer achieves a human level of intelligence, it will necessarily soar past it, Kurzweil says, which he predicts will occur in the early 2030s. Just a few years away. Soon thereafter, as he puts it, is when essentially all of the Potter magic will be realized. So how you feel about such a future determines whether you are a doomer, a gloomer, a zoomer, or a bloomer. Faced with extraordinary new powers, rapid change, and the unknown, most of us instinctively will fall into one of these four camps, if you will. Doomers believe advanced AI poses an existential threat to humanity, potentially leading to a catastrophe or even our extinction. Their instinct is to halt or dramatically slow its development until it can be proven to be completely safe. Gloomers don't necessarily fear extinction. Instead, they worry AI will more immediately diminish our lives by costing us meaningful work, creativity, privacy, relationships, and social trust. They don't reject technology itself so much as they fear what people will do with it. Zoomers believe the benefits of AI far outweigh its risk, and they want innovation to move as quickly as possible with minimal restraint, trusting the markets, entrepreneurs, and technological progress to solve any related problems that may arise. And the bloomers share the Zoomers' optimism, but pair it with wisdom and intention. They believe technology should flourish, but only alongside ethics, education, and commitment to human flourishing. Rather than racing recklessly ahead or retreating in fear, bloomers believe that we can shape the future with intention together. Arthur C. Clarke famously said that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, which again makes Harry Potter the perfect metaphor for further exploring these 4 attitudes about technology, and why, from here on, I'm going to treat these 2 words synonymously. When I speak about magic, I'm also talking about technology and vice versa. When it comes to magic, the Dursleys are an excellent example of the doomers. They fear it, they don't want to see it, let alone use it, and they seek to shame, isolate, and punish anyone who does. Early in the story, for example, they debate whether or not to take Harry with them to the zoo for Dudley's birthday because they worry what might happen if they leave him home alone. I won't blow up the house, Harry promises, but they weren't listening to Harry, they never did. I suppose we could take him to the zoo, Aunt Petunia says slowly, and leave him in the car. That car is new, he's not sitting in it alone. I don't want him to come, Dudley cries between exaggerated sobs. He always spoils everything. So no matter what decision they make, the doomers imagine the worst possible outcomes. Fear becomes their default response to the uncertain future. Moving on, I got into a small debate myself with Claude AI about who is the best example of a gloomer. When I suggested Professor Severus Snape, Claude pushed back. Snape is one of the most skilled wizards in the books. He believes deeply in magic's power and uses it constantly, often brilliantly. And his gloominess is more about personality and personal history than about a worldview that magic itself is problematic. It's like, okay, Claude, I didn't realize you were such a fan. So I think that's fair, but I still think that Snape's a good choice, not because of his gloomy appearance or his demeanor, but because he constantly expects Harry and his friends to screw up or to misuse it. He doesn't doubt the power of magic, but he often suspects the skills and the motives of those using it. He doesn't fear magic itself. He fears what people will do with it. Claude suggests a better gloomer match might be Professor Mad-Eye Moody, for those familiar with the story, who is suspicious of every spell and every wizard and sees threats everywhere, but still uses magic himself because he has to. Or Argus Filch, the squib caretaker who resents wizards because he can't do magic himself and would happily punish students who can. Maybe so, but I'm sticking with Professor Snape. Most gloomers use technology even though they are convinced humanity will ultimately misuse it, leaving the world poorer, colder, and less human in the process. As for Zoomers, those so enthusiastic about technology they want to sprint ahead without any guardrails, Claude AI and I agree. The best examples in the Harry Potter story are Fred and George Weasley. The twin brothers are endlessly inventive. They experiment constantly, delight in pushing boundaries, and treat magic as an endless playground for their own creativity. Their joke shop is essentially a magic startup company, so they would fit right in Silicon Valley. Of course, not every invention, every one of their inventions works as they intended. They test products on unsuspecting first-year students, occasionally create more chaos than they anticipated, and often seem to believe it's better to ask forgiveness than permission. Fortunately, Fred and George are fundamentally kind-hearted. Their inventions are usually intended to bring joy, laughter, and wonder, not exploitation or harm. Still, their out-of-control antics remind us that enthusiasm alone is not enough. Like so much else, technology must advance through trial and error, but those developing it must also still remain cautious, not careless. And this leads us to the bloomers, those who are optimistic about technology's ability to improve the future, but only if we intentionally guide it toward human flourishing. So in this sense, nearly every student at Hogwarts is a bloomer, because they're there to learn how to use their extraordinary powers responsibly. Their education isn't really about mastering spells, it's about developing the wisdom and the character, as Richer pointed out so well, necessary to wield those powers well. Star students like Harry Potter and Hermione Granger embody this attitude perfectly. They certainly make serious mistakes, like the time Harry used a dangerous curse he really didn't fully understand and nearly killed Draco Malfoy. Thankfully, Professor Snape arrived in time to save him, although Draco was left scarred for life. Although he didn't abandon magic, Harry learned from this mistake and became a wiser and more careful wizard in the process. Harry and Hermione both understand that possessing power is only the beginning. The real purpose of Hogwarts is learning to use that power wisely, responsibly, and for the good of others. And that's the attitude that separates bloomers from the others. They don't fear technology, quite the opposite. They place much hope in it. Yet they also understand that these extraordinary tools and the powers that they give us require wisdom and character. Character, which means aligning their use with human values and welfare more than anything else. And this is why I consider Hogwarts such a helpful metaphor for the age that we are in. A wand is like AI. A spell is like a prompt. In Hogwarts, or I should say both work almost as fast. Not quite yet, but we're getting there. And Hogwarts is where we develop the character to use both wisely and ethically. But if you still think magic is too flattering a comparison to technology, then you won't like the word that Peter Diamandis and Stephen Kotler use to describe it in their new audaciously titled book, We Are as Gods. They call the powers that these technologies give us nothing short of miraculous. They begin with a very long list of all the kinds of miracles various religions ascribe to their gods. Then describe all the technologies allowing us mere mortals to perform the same kinds of miracles today. These divine powers are everywhere and everywhen, they say. They're now in your pocket. You can carry miracle tech in your jeans and handbag. You can summon a chariot of the gods disguised as an Uber with a finger tap and conjure up a feast via Uber Eats with another. You have answers to nearly every question in seconds. Translation, navigation, simulation, it's all on demand. Yet Diamandis and Kotler wonder why. If we are literally walking the earth in an age of miracles, how come we don't feel divine? For a worthwhile discussion of this question, I recommend reading We Are as Gods for yourself. For now, one important point they make is that most of us barely notice our new superpowers. You wouldn't know it from reading the headlines, they say. Instead, we find dystopia in every direction. They focus on the threat the technology brings to our economy, our political stability, our very survival. There are similar fears that video games will rot our minds, text messages will destroy our language skills, and robots will steal our jobs. This constant drumbeat of dread has reshaped our collective mood. Mental health disorders are at a record high. The result, they say, even after 5 pages of human-created biblical miracles, we don't feel blessed, we feel besieged. Most of us still believe that today is worse than yesterday and best not to think about tomorrow. In short, when it comes to technology, there is way too much doom and gloom in our society for us to not only appreciate the powers we have, but to believe we can guide them in the positive direction we've been considering. Personally, I counter the negative news cycle by intentionally looking for good news stories, especially about technology. And it's that easy. In this case, seek and ye shall find. I don't ignore the negative. It's always right in front of us. But if we work to overcome our fear-based neurology and instincts, we will see plenty of good too. Some of the stories that have recently caught my eye include multiple stories about how AI is being used to develop novel antibiotics to combat drug-resistant diseases, and how it's being used for early detection of pancreatic and other once terminal cancers. There's a joint venture between Johns Hopkins and the University of Uganda right now, for example, that's using low-cost technologies to improve early cancer diagnosis and treatment within the nation's underserved population, saving thousands of women from breast cancer. There's AI tech that now instantly translates for the deaf and that helps the blind navigate their environments without the use of any other kind of assistance. AI is being used to better, and that, not to mention, curing the blind, which is also happening, and we're getting increasingly better at that. But there's a story of AI that's being used to separate recyclables from our trash, right? A lot of stuff we send to be recycled doesn't get recycled because it takes human hands to actually separate what's legitimately recyclable. AI is able to do that for us so much easier and faster, affordably, efficiently. So we end up wasting far less of it. There was even a recent story about a 15-year-old high school student in Ontario who has built a robotic underwater turtle that quietly moves without disrupting the environment to detect coral bleaching, plastic waste, and invasive species with almost 100% accuracy. 96% to be exact. And did you catch that story just a couple weeks ago about the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service partnering with a Dallas biotech company to preserve the genetic blueprint of every animal species in the United States, so that if necessary, we can bring them back from the brink of extinction, or from extinction. Among my favorite examples, however, is the recent and widely reported news that after living years without any answers, AI was used to correctly diagnose 18 patients who, like hundreds of millions around the world, have lived for years without knowing what was wrong with them or how to treat their conditions. And in this case, they all began in childhood diseases, although they're all now well into their adulthood. So tell me, who has the moral right to take those answers, those diagnoses, those treatments, even those cures, away from those who desperately need them, who desperately want them? Who has the right to prevent a high schooler from helping to find the sickest places beneath the sea so that we can begin to heal them? Who has the right to prevent us from bringing back the species our own short-sightedness has driven to extinction? And even more importantly, who would want to? Who would want to prevent those things? Today, in this age of powerful technology, whether we call it magic or miraculous, there are countless stories of how it is being used in beneficial ways. Yet there are also far too many Dursleys in the world, wanting to try to stuff the genie back into the bottle, or to bottle up our enthusiasm, if not our ability to make positive differences in our lives and in our world. The fear is real, and some of it is based in reality. There is much to worry about in the world, but worrying about it doesn't make any difference. Those sort of emotions, if they don't lead us to act in positive ways, only make matters worse for ourselves. They can even make us sick. The proper response to our anxieties, rather, is to do what we can, not merely to prevent the worst fears from coming true, but really to work to achieve our greatest hopes. Again, we'll never have the future that we want simply by prohibiting the future we don't want. To create the future we do want, we have to think positively, believing that we have the power, the agency, to make a real difference. And today, more than ever, we really do have the magical, miraculous power to make our hopes come true. So don't be a Dursley, and don't allow the Dursleys in the world to convince you to stuff your powers in a cupboard beneath the stairs of progress. Grab your wand and climb those stairs, or better yet, hop into your flying car and head to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry and learn to use your unprecedented powers for the good of humanity and all the wondrous creatures that we share this planet with. You are a magical witch or wizard. So go out and do some good. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so Pam and I changed the last hymn kind of last minute. And we're just going to do together, We Shall Overcome. And so if you can turn to 169 if you want to follow. It's We Shall Overcome, and we're just going to do verse 1 and verse 2. Okay, she wants verse 3, which is We Shall Live in Peace. We shall live in peace. Is that verse 3? Another one. Okay, continue singing. And we shall live in peace, and we shall live in peace someday. 'Cause oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall live in peace someday.
Our benediction today comes once again from Albus Dumbledore in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. It seems a fitting invitation as we leave today carrying both the promises and the challenges of living with powerful new technologies. He says, It matters not what someone is born, but what they grow to be. Amen. Blessed be. Salam alaikum and shalom.
It was a regional meeting of all the UUs that took place about 10 years ago, And we had a good singer sing it. Really, they liked it. They liked it a lot.
That song that you just did?
Yeah. It's yeah.
Let's just practice the build. We are building.